The night everything changed began with a sound most people ignore, a baby's soft, trembling cry. But that cry would pull a billionaire into a moment he never saw coming, a moment that would expose a cruelty no one was prepared for. And it all happened inside a worn-out roadside diner where no one expected greatness to walk through the door. Rowan Hale, owner of Hale Industries and one of the country's youngest billionaires, pushed open the diner's entrance with heavy steps. He wasn't there for food or business. He was there because he needed to breathe. To disappear. To stop pretending he had everything under control. But instead of quiet, he walked straight into someone else's disaster. She stood near the center of the diner, moving fast, moving carefully, moving like someone who had learned to survive by never slowing down. A young black waitress with tired but determined eyes. Her name tag read, Keisha. Her uniform was faded, her hair tied up neatly, and her smile, when she forced one, held a kind of broken bravery. Rowan noticed something else too. Behind the counter, hidden behind a row of syrup bottles and napkin dispensers, sat a tiny baby carrier. Inside, a little girl with warm brown skin and big teary eyes let out a whimper. Keisha froze when she heard it. She rushed to the carrier, whispering soft words, her hands trembling as she rocked the baby gently. "Shoo, it's okay, Alani. Mama's right here." The baby quieted for a second, until a loud bang came from the kitchen. The baby began to cry fully now, desperate and loud. Keisha's face crumpled with fear. She lifted her daughter into her arms, holding her close, bouncing lightly, tears filling her eyes though she tried to hide them. Before she could calm her, the kitchen doors slammed open. A tall, thick man with a sunburned face stormed out. His name was Brent, the manager. Anger radiated off him like heat from asphalt. "What did I tell you about bringing that baby in here?" he barked, pointing a finger so close it nearly touched her forehead. Every customer went silent. Keisha swallowed hard. "Brent, please, I didn't have a sitter tonight. My neighbor canceled last minute. I came because I can't afford to miss another shift. I'll keep her quiet, I promise." "You can't even keep your table straight, and now the crying starts again." Brent snapped. "This isn't a daycare. This is a business." "I'm trying," she whispered, voice trembling. "Just give me tonight. I need this job." "You need to follow the rules," Brent shot back. "And you didn't. So we're done." Keisha froze. Her lips parted, but no sound came out. Her arms tightened protectively around her baby. "Brent, please," her voice broke. I can't lose this job." "Too bad," he said coldly. "You're fired." A gasp rippled through the diner. A few customers looked down at their plates, ashamed but silent. A few shook their heads. No one stepped up. Except Rowan. He stood slowly, every muscle stiffening with disbelief. He had seen executives treat people like numbers. He had seen competitors crush workers' lives to save $1. But this was cruelty committed in plain sight, against a woman who was clearly drowning yet refusing to stop swimming. Keisha hugged her baby tightly, tears slipping down her cheeks despite her effort to stay strong. She gathered her small diaper bag with one shaking hand. Brent pointed at the door. "Get out. Both of you." Rowan's voice cut through the room before she could take another step. "Wait." Keisha turned, startled. Brent whirled around, annoyed. "And who are you supposed to be?" Brent demanded. Rowan walked forward, not with arrogance but with purpose. He stopped a few feet from Keisha, his voice gentle. "Are you all right?" She wiped her tears with her sleeve. I'm fine." But her voice cracked, betraying the lie. Rowan looked at her baby, still crying softly, tiny hands gripping her mother's shirt, then back at Keisha's exhausted face. Something inside him shifted. He turned to Brent, his voice sharpening. "She shouldn't have been fired. Brent scoffed. She broke the rules. End of story. Or maybe, Rowan said calmly, she came because she needed to keep her child fed. Maybe firing her was the cruelest choice you could have made. Brent rolled his eyes. Look, mister, this is none of your. It is, Rowan interrupted, more my business than you think. Customers whispered now, eyes widening as they recognized him. Isn't that Rowan Hale? That billionaire guy? Rowan ignored them. He looked at Keisha again. Do you have somewhere to go? Anyone who can help you? She shook her head. I'll figure something out. I always do. Her voice was soft, defeated. Rowan exhaled slowly, then pulled a sleek card from his pocket. He held it out to her. Keisha stared, confused. Brent frowned. Customers leaned in. Rowan's voice softened again. Come see me tomorrow morning. I think I can help you. Keisha hesitated, eyes wide and trembling. But no one, not even she, expected what Rowan Hale would do next. For a long moment, Keisha didn't move. She stared at the business card in Rowan's hand like it wasn't real. Like she was afraid touching it might make everything disappear. Her voice came out small. Why would you help me? You don't even know me. Rowan met her gaze with calm certainty. Maybe I don't. But I know what unfairness looks like. And I know when someone deserves better than what they've been handed. Brent scoffed loudly. This is ridiculous. She's not special. She's just another. Rowan's eyes cut sharply toward him. Finish that sentence carefully. Brent swallowed his words. Keisha clutched her baby closer, her breath shaking. Alani had stopped crying, watching Rowan with wide, curious eyes, as if even she sensed something had shifted. Rowan extended the card again. This time, with trembling fingers, Keisha took it. Rowan Hale. Hale Industries, she whispered quietly to herself, shock spreading slowly across her face. She knew the name, everyone did. Brent's face turned pale. Mr. Hale, I had no idea. That much is obvious, Rowan replied flatly. Keisha lowered her eyes. I'm sorry you had to see all this. I really didn't want. Don't apologize, Rowan interrupted gently. None of this is your fault. She looked down, lips trembling. It feels like everything is my fault these days. Rowan's voice softened further. You're doing the best you can. And that's more than most. Silence settled over the diner, heavy and undeniable. Rowan reached for his wallet and pulled out enough cash to cover his untouched meal and then some. He placed the entire stack on the counter. Then he looked at Brent. This covers my dinner and a reminder that treating people like they're disposable has consequences. Brent didn't reply. He didn't dare. Rowan turned back to Keisha. Do you need a ride home? Keisha jolted slightly. No, thank you, but no. I walked here. It's not far. Rowan noticed the thin jacket draped over her shoulder. The night outside was freezing. Walking with a baby in this weather isn't safe, he said quietly. Keisha hesitated, torn between pride and desperation. I can manage. Rowan didn't push. He simply nodded. All right. But please, come tomorrow. 8 a.m. Ask for me directly. I'll be waiting. Keisha swallowed hard. Okay. She adjusted Alani against her chest, gathered her bag, and headed toward the door. Before stepping outside, she turned back once more. Thank you, she whispered. Rowan offered a small nod. Get home safe. And then she disappeared into the cold, dark evening. Rowan remained standing in the center of the diner, stunned by how quickly everything inside him had shifted. Moments ago, he'd been running from his own problems, corporate mess, board pressure, hollow success. But now, he couldn't stop thinking about that tiny baby and the mother who carried her with more strength than she knew. He left the diner quietly. But sleep wouldn't find him that night. By 7:45 the next morning, Rowan was already in his office. His assistant, Callie, nearly jumped when she saw him. "You're early," she said, blinking at him through her glasses. "Like, extremely early. Did I miss an emergency memo?" "No emergency," Rowan replied. "Just expecting someone." Callie tilted her head. "A business partner? Investor?" Rowan shook his head. "A young woman named Keisha Lopez." Callie blinked again. "I don't know that name." "You will," Rowan said simply. At exactly 8 o'clock, there was a soft knock at the office door. Callie opened it, and paused. Keisha stood there wearing her only clean coat, clutching Alani's diaper bag. Her hair was damp from the morning fog, her cheeks cold and pink. She looked nervous, overwhelmed, but determined. "Mr. Hale," Callie said gently, "she's here." Rowan stood immediately. "Come in," he said, motioning her forward. Keisha stepped inside slowly. Her eyes widened at the size of the office, its tall windows, polished floors, and shelves lined with awards she'd only ever seen in magazines. "Thank you for coming," Rowan said. "I wasn't sure if yesterday was real," Keisha admitted quietly. "People like you don't usually help people like me." Rowan frowned gently. "What does that mean?" She shrugged softly. "People with money, they look at moms like me and assume we messed up somewhere. That we deserve the struggle." "You don't," Rowan said firmly. Keisha's eyes lowered. Rowan took a seat behind his desk. "Before I say anything else, tell me about yourself." Keisha shifted nervously. "Well, I'm 24. I've been on my own since I was 19. I work whatever jobs I can keep. I'm trying to take college classes online, but that's slow because of money. And..." Her voice caught. "And I'm trying really hard to be a good mother," she whispered. "But sometimes it feels like every door closes on me the moment I reach for it." Rowan leaned forward. "Yesterday wasn't your fault. And your strength? It's obvious. But you need more than strength, you need a chance. And I want to give you one." Keisha's lips parted in shock. "Why?" Rowan inhaled deeply. "Because yesterday I watched someone punish you for choosing to take care of your child. And I won't let that be the end of your story." Keisha looked down at the floor, overwhelmed. Rowan continued gently. "I have a proposal for you. A real one. Not pity, an opportunity." Her breath caught. "What kind of opportunity?" she whispered. Rowan smiled faintly. "One that might change everything." Keisha sat in the chair across from Rowan, her hands clasped tightly together. She looked like someone afraid to breathe too deeply, afraid the moment might vanish if she moved too fast. Rowan rested his elbows on the desk. "Before I explain the opportunity, I want you to understand something. You didn't get here because of pity. You're here because yesterday, I watched a strong woman try to hold her life together with nothing but grit, and she still showed kindness, even in pain." Keisha blinked, stunned by the compliment. "What I'm offering," Rowan continued, "is a long-term position at Hale Industries. A stable income, childcare support, training, and a path to grow. You choose the department. Admin, customer communications, shipping, community outreach, anywhere you feel you can thrive." Keisha's eyes widened. "Wait, you're offering me a job? A real job? A real future," Rowan replied. Her lips trembled. "Rowan. I dropped out of college. I've never worked in an office. I don't have fancy skills. Why pick me?" "Because you won't waste the chance," Rowan said simply. "That matters more than experience." Keisha looked down, overwhelmed. Tears slipped down her cheeks before she could stop them. "Nobody has ever believed in me like that," she whispered. "Not once." Rowan nodded gently. "Then let this be the first time." For a moment, she couldn't speak. She just held little Alani closer, pressing her lips to the baby's soft hair. Finally, she exhaled shakily. I'll do it. I'll work harder than anyone you've ever hired." "I know you will," Rowan replied. Callie stepped forward. "If you'd like, I can help you with the paperwork, childcare forms, and orientation schedule." Keisha nodded quickly, still wiping tears. "Yes, thank you." Callie gave her a warm smile and guided her to a smaller room to begin the onboarding process. Rowan watched them go, something tight in his chest loosening. For the first time in a long time, he felt his work meant something, more than numbers, more than shareholders, more than the cold halls of his boardroom. It felt human. 2 weeks later, the transformation was already visible. Keisha arrived early every morning, dressed neatly, hair tied back, ready to learn. She absorbed everything: phone etiquette, data entry software, scheduling, customer communication, and eventually small account responsibilities. She asked questions, stayed late, and smiled more each day. But more than anything, she carried herself differently. Her steps had confidence. Her voice had strength. Her eyes had hope. And whenever her shift ended, she would pick up Alani from the company-sponsored childcare center, something she once believed only rich families could afford. She'd walk through the lobby, laughing with her daughter tucked against her chest, as if rediscovering joy one small piece at a time. Rowan saw her growth every day. He found excuses to pass by her department, pretending to check on projects when really he just wanted to see the woman who had reminded him what compassion looked like in a world obsessed with power. Callie noticed. She gave him a knowing look one afternoon. "You care more than you admit." Rowan didn't deny it. "She's different. Strong. Honest. She hasn't had an easy life, but she still gives everything she has." Callie smiled softly. "Maybe she's exactly the reminder you needed." Maybe she was. 3 months later, Hale Industries hosted its annual charity banquet, a highly publicized event attended by business leaders, community advocates, and media. Rowan rarely enjoyed these events. They felt staged, polished, too full of empty praise. But this year felt different. Because Keisha would be there, invited as a guest of honor for her remarkable progress and dedication. She entered the ballroom nervously, wearing a simple soft blue dress, her natural curls framing her face beautifully. She held Alani's tiny hand as they walked in together. People turned to look, some curious, some admiring. Rowan approached with a smile. "You look amazing." Keisha blushed. "I was worried I wouldn't fit in." "You belong here more than half the people in this room," Rowan said. She laughed gently, brushing a hand over Alani's hair. "It still feels unreal." "Then let's make it real," Rowan said, motioning toward the stage. "Come with me." Keisha hesitated. "Wait, Rowan, what are you doing?" "You'll see," he replied with a wink. He stepped onto the stage as the room hushed. "Thank you all for coming," Rowan began, holding the microphone steadily. "Tonight is about recognizing the strength in our community, the people who fight through challenges most never see." He paused, scanning the crowd until his eyes found Keisha's. 3 months ago, I met someone who reminded me what resilience truly looks like. She walked into my office carrying the weight of the world, and she never once complained. She simply asked for the chance to work, to grow, to give her daughter a better life. People murmured, moved already. Tonight, Rowan continued, I want to honor that courage. He extended his hand toward Keisha. Keisha Lopez, will you join me? Gasps rippled through the room. Keisha froze, heart pounding. Callie nudged her gently. Go on. Slowly, Keisha stepped onto the stage, holding Alani in her arms. Rowan turned to her and smiled warmly. You are proof that determination, sacrifice, and love can overcome even the harshest circumstances. You deserve every door that opens for you. Tears slid down Keisha's cheeks, but she smiled anyway. Rowan continued, and starting today, Hale Industries is awarding you a full scholarship to complete your degree. A permanent full-time position after graduation. And childcare support for Alani as long as you need it. The entire room erupted into applause. Keisha covered her mouth, crying openly now. Rowan. I don't know what to say. You've already said it, he whispered. With every step you took forward. She hugged him, tight, grateful, overwhelmed. Alani squealed happily between them. The cameras flashed, capturing the moment. But the moment wasn't about publicity. It was about a billionaire who found his soul again. And a mother who finally found her chance. Keisha pulled back, looking at him with soft, teary eyes. You changed my life. Rowan shook his head gently. No. You changed your own. I just moved the obstacles. Keisha laughed through the tears, and for the first time in a long time, Rowan felt his heart lighten. The room cheered. The story spread. But for them, this was only the beginning. A new chapter. A new hope. A new life built not on wealth or status, but on kindness that echoed louder than power ever could.